For more on what these teams could do or should do, let's welcome in CBS Sports NBA writers and analysts Bill Reiter and Colin Ward-Henninger. Speaking of the Heat, let's talk about them off the top. And President Pat Riley was asked about adding to the roster this summer. Before I get your guys' take, here's what he had to say when asked about that.
There's something from outside that avails itself that doesn't cost us an arm and a leg that could fit that bill, and I'd always be interested in looking at that. But I think we have what we need internally, but we'll see, from that standpoint.
Certainly a Heat, one of those teams that were close to making that leap. Bill, who would be the best free agent move or best offseason target for the Heat?
Yeah, when Pat Riley is not challenging the media to push-ups in a contest, Pat, you would absolutely, when I covered that team 10 years ago, it's true then, it's true now. I mean, this is an organization that has championship aspirations today, right now. Pat Riley burns more than as much as any competitor in the sport to win more championships and to get a championship post-LeBron James. It is a motivating factor. It's talked about in that organization. So sure, they'll go out there and they'll try to find guys with high upside. They felt good about Kyle Lowry, didn't quite work out. They felt it was worth the risk on Victor Oladipo. To a degree, it did work out, and Oladipo's going to probably be expensive and maybe be somewhere else. So I think you're going to see that organization, guys, and just talking to folks within and outside of it, who are going to kick the tires on some big game hunting. Can they go get Joel Embiid? Of course not, but that is their dream scenario. But Bradley Beal, I think, is a little more realistic. We're waiting to see, the whole league's waiting to see whether or not Beal is going to stay in Washington. That is the general sense people have, because Beal has kept his business very private and very low-key. But the Miami Heat would love to be able to find that kind of a player, whether it's in free agency or it's a trade. They do have some young pieces. They do have some guys they can move on from. That organization, even though they've drafted better the last few years, and they have, do not, over the course of Riley's tenure, they have not really valued draft picks that much. Sure, they hit on Dwayne Wade. They got that right, but there's also Michael Beasley, and they just have a culture of believing the culture is more important than individual young players. So I think Bradley Beal's an interesting target for the Heat, and I think big names, Donovan Mitchell's. I know Embiid's not available, but Embiid flirted with them on Twitter a little bit. Anyone that they get a sense is available that is a big name, Pat Riley would happily pay a gigantic price, because for him, at his age, he wants a championship while he can get it. And I think they know, guys, within that organization, they're almost there, but they're not close enough, and they need another star with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I think obviously, going for the big names would be ideal for the Heat, but in the scenario where that's not available, I think they just kind of need to keep their house in order, right? They don't have a lot of options out there on the free agent market if they can't pull one of these big trades in terms of impact players. So I think their primary priority should be extending Tyler Herro. The last thing you want is a DeAndre Ayton situation in Phoenix, where you don't pay the guy, you play out the year, and suddenly you start to think, do they want me here? Things start to boil over and create tension there. So that's the last thing you want. I think you give Tyler Herro an extension, probably not the max, but maybe somewhere in the 120, 130 range seems reasonable for him. And then you're also bridging the gap to the future. As we saw in the playoffs, Kyle Lowry getting hurt, Jimmy Butler playing through injuries, PJ Tucker is old. All these people, we don't know how long they're going to be able to perform at this level. So you want to get a guy who can pair with Bam Adebayo to kind of bridge the gap into the future of the Heat. Also, by extending Tyler Herro, you increase his salary. So that way, if one of these guys does become available, Herro's salary is closer to matching those kind of big game players that Bill was talking about, and they might be able to swing that deal with a chip. But to me, primary objective this offseason is to extend Herro, keep him happy, and help bridge the gap to the future.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.